Hello dear, good morning. Welcome to our reading and writing skills class. For today's lesson, we're going to discuss about the most essential learning competency number 2, which is evaluate a written text based on its properties, specifically the organization, coherence, and cohesion. Let us have the objectives of this week's lesson. First, find out the meaning of a well-organized text. Second, identify the components and structure of an effective essay. And third, write an organized text. Okay, let us now have this activity. Take a look at this picture. Can you describe what you see on the screen? Yes, it is a working table. The working table looks very messy and not organized. What do you think will happen when you try to look for a specific document if this is your working table? Alright, yes, it will be very difficult for you to find it. This situation is related in our topic for today. When writing a text, it is very important that you will organize your thoughts and sentence structure. If your text do not possess organization, then it will be very difficult for the reader to understand what you want to say. Okay, I have a question, class. How do you understand a text? Is there a specific strategy or technique that you follow to be able to understand what you're reading? According to DMOC 2005, there are many students who encountered problems comprehending or understanding expository text because they cannot see the basic structure of this text. When we say expository text, these are non-fiction texts or informational texts that gives facts or information. How about you, class? Do you also encounter problems in understanding informational text? Do you have a background about the basic structure of text? If none, let me discuss to you the text structure and other properties of a well-written text. Text structure. Okay, text structure refers to the way authors organize information in text. So text structure has something to do with the organization. Okay, so let us discuss the definition of organization. So what is organization? So organization, it is the structural framework for writing. It is also the logical progression and completeness of ideas in the text. In writing, it is very important for you to organize your thoughts and ideas clearly so that the audience will be able to understand the things or the ideas that you want them to understand. When dealing with organization, there are two tips or two important things or ideas that you need to know. First, the proper paragraphing, and the second one, the logical order of presentation of ideas. Proper paragraphing refers to the ability of an individual to divide a text into paragraphs. A paragraph is a distinct section of a piece of writing, usually dealing with a single theme and indicated by a new line or indentation. Paragraphing is organizing your ideas. And to make your paragraph reader-friendly, you have to break up the mass of words and use appropriate signals as you make new points. And this is how you organize thoughts using paragraph or paragraphing. The second important idea about organization is about the logical order of presentation of ideas. In here, connectives are very important. Connectives are words or phrases that link sentences or clauses. For example, we have the conjunction but and connective adverbs like when, however, and therefore. Now, presented on the screen are the basics or the basic things that you need to know to be able to write a well-organized paragraph. First, each paragraph must be built around a single idea or what you call the controlling idea or a specific topic. After that, you're going to create a topic sentence. topic sentence is a sentence that expresses the main idea of the paragraph in which it occurs. Usually, it is found in the first sentence of the paragraph because it gives an overview of the sentences to follow. Third, use an appropriate technique or pattern from a variety of ways of developing a paragraph. Class, always remember that you have to make sure that the pattern that you will use in your paragraph is appropriate to the topic that you choose. And lastly, you're going to use appropriate connectives to be able to achieve unity in your paragraph. When writing a paragraph, always remember this acronym: letter S, letter T, and letter C. S for single idea, T for topic sentence, another T for techniques or pattern, and letter C for connectives. When you master these steps, you'll be able to come up with a well-organized written text. Let us now proceed with our second topic, which is about coherence and cohesion. To begin with, let me read the following objectives. First, identify the difference of coherence and cohesion. Second, explore a cohesive and coherent composition. Third, write a coherent composition. Cohesion and coherence are two basic features that facilitate textual continuity. These terms are used in discourse analysis to describe the properties of a written text. Basically, cohesion focused on grammatical aspect of writing, while coherence includes the rhetorical aspects of writing, such as the developing and supporting your argument, synthesizing, integrating readings, and organizing and clarifying ideas. Cohesion is based on the degree on how sentences are connected. So we're talking about the structure. And for a paragraph to become cohesive, a writer or the writer must use different cohesive devices. On the other hand, coherence is based more on logic of ideas and how they are presented. So it is a matter of telling if something is logical or illogical, if the statement or paragraph is making sense or not, and that is coherence. Presented on the screen are the transitional devices that you can use to make your paragraph cohesive. We have transitional devices for addition, for comparison, for concession, for contrast, for giving emphasis, for having example or illustration, and transitional devices for summarizing or to give summary. For addition, we have the word again, also, and then, equally important, finally, first, further, furthermore, in addition, in the first place, last, moreover, next, second, still, and to. For comparison, we have transitional devices also in the same way, likewise, and similarly. For concession, we have granted, naturally, and of course. For contrast, we have although, yet, at the same time, but at the same time, despite that, even so, even though, for all that, however, in contrast, in spite of, instead, nevertheless, notwithstanding, on the contrary, on the other hand, otherwise, regardless, still, and though. For emphasis, we have certainly, indeed, in fact, and of course. For example, in illustration, we have after all as an illustration, even, for example, for instance, for conclusion, indeed, in fact, in other words, in short, it is true, namely, specifically, that is, to illustrate, thus, and truly. And for the summary, we have all in all, altogether, as has been said, finally, in brief, in conclusion, In other words, in particular, in short, in simpler terms, in summary, on the whole, that is, therefore, and to summarize. Now, let me read to you the example for coherence and cohesion. I had the most beautiful experience when I went to the zoo. I saw different kinds of birds, but it was my first time to see a carabao flying. Class, do you think the text is cohesive? Do you think this text is grammatically correct? Did the writer use cohesive devices? Yes, the writer used cohesive devices and the text is grammatically correct. However, do you think the text is coherent? Do you think the text is logical? Does it make sense? Well, the answer is no. The writer here is telling us a story about her experience in going to the zoo. However, if you notice in the last paragraph, the writer is saying that he saw a carabao flying, and that statement makes it illogical or not logical. So we may say that a sentence is cohesive, but in this example, the text is not coherent. Again, in writing a paragraph, always remember that you have to make sure that you are writing a text with cohesion and coherence. Cohesion means the sentences are connected with one another. They stick together to achieve unity with the use of cohesive devices. At the same time, it should be coherent. It means the paragraph is logically correct and it makes sense. Okay, so now that we are done discussing the properties of a well-written text, specifically the organization and the cohesion and coherence, now we will proceed with the activities that you will need to answer this week. First is the activity found on your ADM module, which is the What's More activity on pages 7 to 8. So the instruction is, you're going to use the graphic organizer to show the order of events recounted in the film review. Again, the film review can be found in your self-learning module. For the second activity, you're going to do the What I Can Do activity on page 9. So for the instruction, you're going to write a 3 to 5 sentence paragraph essay about the episodes of your life using the events that you recorded on the table beginning from childhood to young adulthood. Be guided by the following criteria. We have completeness, 5 points, content, 5 points, language, 5 points, and formatting organization, 5 points. The third activity will be found in the What's More on pages 12 to 13. So for items 1 to 3, you're going to combine each pair of sentences by changing one sentence to a subordinate clause. You're going to use appropriate subordinating conjunction to link the ideas. And for items 4 to 5, you're going to continue the story by completing the sentences. For the fourth activity in your weekly home learning plan, you're going to rewrite the given paragraph by organizing the flow of ideas and make sure that the links are made clear between each point. So it can be found in the additional activities on page 14. Lastly, you're going to make your performance task. So you're going to write a 500 to 1,000 word narrative of your life from birth to young adulthood. Include all your ups and downs, challenges, memorable experiences, and the lessons that you learned. Make sure to organize your story from the beginning until the end. Also, underline the cohesive devices that you use. So be guided by the criteria given. First, content 40%, organization 30%, coherence and cohesion 30% for a total of 100%. Don't forget to provide a catchy title for this. And these are the my source in this video lesson presentation. Thank you all for listening and happy learning!